went there. We went there for my father-in-law's, basically that was his 60th birthday celebration, even though he turned 60 in April.
Oh, okay.
So that's what he wanted to do. And then we were like, hey, we should do family pictures. And my sister-in-law is an amazing photographer. And what's really crazy is that the family picture that we took was it wasn't even on a tripod because she forgot it. We literally stood it up on like beach chairs, and
Oh,
all
wow.
4 babies were looking in that picture.
Yeah, they
And we
looked
were like,
great.
how did that happen? So it was
They were
cool.
really nice pictures. And you
So
can they look like they're all related because of their eyes.
oh my gosh, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah, when
so
Raph came
sweet.
out with blue eyes and blonde hair, I mean, I know they all come out with blue eyes, but his eyes were like blue. And I was like, what? I have a blue-eyed, blonde-haired child. Like,
Yeah,
not what I was expecting, but
it happens.
it
Well,
happened.
you must have blue in your line somewhere.
Um,
You may not, like both of your parents might be brown, but you might have a grandparent somewhere in there that had blue.
I don't know
Somebody had
on,
to carry a recessive gene
yeah, but the
that
fact that we
passed to you.
hit that one is amazing.
Yeah. Well, you never know.
Yeah.
There might be
Hi,
another
Chels.
picture
Hi,
thing on.
I'm
Yeah.
blue. I'm blue-eyed, blonde hair. My husband is blonde hair, blue-eyed. And I was like, if our child does not have blonde hair and blue eyes, something has gone really wrong. But he has blonde hair and blue eyes.
There you go.
Well, we both have blue eyes, and two of my daughter's eyes are green. And I'm like, how did this happen? Because,
Really?
yeah, Alexandra, my oldest daughter's, hers are cat eye green. And I mean, they were blue as blue when she was younger, but
Hmm.
they're green. I mean, might change, but hers are cat eye green.
Yeah.
And my second daughters are definitely green, and the youngest still has blue. But I was like, paws can look green, but not that cat eye green. They
Yeah.
look like
That's
teal
intense.
green.
That's
So,
cool.
yeah.
Cool. Well, I thought one of them was jumping on. Oh, they're just gonna.
I told her to. I don't,
Okay.
I sent her the link.
Okay. All right. Well, just throwing it out
She's
there.
she's not happy because well, years ago she was in a couple different weddings and she was very stressed and she got pretty thin for her. And now
Mhm.
she's married and she's happy and they're doing a lot of stuff. And now she's like, I don't know how I gained all this weight. I said, well, you're happy and you're not stressed.
Mm,
It happens.
yeah.
So,
Well, you can always relay everything to her.
yeah, she
Um,
still looks great.
yeah. Okay. Well, I know your interest is maybe a little bit different, but I'm curious. I love teaching this. And I think that if I was teaching this to a group of guys, it would still be beneficial to them. Um, so I market it for postpartum because it is very important for postpartum. But I mean, men that have had significant weight gain, they can have a diastasis, or some people just working out want to know how to use their core. So it's really awesome. So I hope you guys have fun learning this, because I'm about to drop a lot of knowledge bombs on you probably. Um, Chelsea, you have me, so you know that I talk pretty fast in class. So nothing ain't gonna be any different over Zoom. And Catherine, you obviously know me very well, so you know how it's gonna go. But um, I already remembered to hit the record button, which I forgot to do earlier in the week. But you guys get to benefit from it, so I guess that's just the way it's supposed to be. All right, so I do have a bit of an agenda for us. The very first thing is I'm doing this workshop in kind of a mini version of what I do with my clients, either in person or remotely. Um, Typically I meet with my moms every 2 weeks, and we learn and we measure, and then we practice the exercise. So that's typically every 2 weeks. We're doing a 1 week, kind of like a mini version, to just get your toes wet to see if it's something that you're interested in that you could benefit from. So I bring that up because it's very important that we schedule our next meeting. And there's two of you. There were supposed to be more, but hey, they're not here, so they're missing out. So we just
I have a
figured out-
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I leave on Saturday and I'll be gone for 17 days.
Okay.
Ooh.
So I'm sorry, I won't be able to do that week
That's okay.
thing
That's
just
okay.
yet. That's
Um,
why I was like, oh, maybe I should join next session, but you're like, oh,
yeah,
I didn't
well, I
record
mean,
it.
and you could still jump in then too.
Okay.
So, well, we'll just figure out, maybe Chelsea, maybe you and I will do it in person. We can do that too.
Okay.
We'll figure
Yeah.
it out. Okay.
Yeah.
So first thing on the agenda, check mark, done. All right, perfect. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about me, even though you both know me. My undergraduate degree is in injury prevention and care of injuries. My master's degree as well. I have done personal training since 2010. Catherine was one of my personal training clients. So been working with people one-on-one for a very, very long time. I've been coaching group fitness since 2012. So lots of years of experience just working with people. My first love has always been injury prevention. And so I feel like, and all my journeys that I've been on, I feel like God just like finally like brought me to this place and like dropped me off and was like, this is what I have been doing all of this. I've been dragging you all these places for this. So just, I'm really, really passionate about it. And it has changed my life. And I just really want to help other moms or other women or whoever needs it with this education. So it is postpartum focused, but again, like I mentioned, everyone can benefit from it. I worked with a massage therapist a couple years ago, and she's a very good friend of mine and my mentor. And I learned a lot from her, which was really sparked my interest and pushed me to go about and do this on my own. So that's where it all comes from. So that's a little bit about me and about how I got to this place and why I'm so passionate about it. The next thing, let's jump into it. So in my program, I basically have 4 stages. The first one is to reconnect to your core. So when we're talking about this postpartum, and it doesn't matter if you're 6 weeks postpartum, or like my mom, I'll tell you a little bit about my mom, to age myself. When I checked her last summer, after 35 plus years, she had a separation of her abdominal wall. And from having babies, me and my brother, and was still having symptoms from it. So you'd be surprised what we can find. So this is phase 1, and I teach you how to reconnect to your core. And that sounds a little bit, silly. Well, okay, I use my core all the time. But maybe not in the proper way. When we're immediately postpartum, belly has been stretched out, and the deepest muscle of your core, which we're going to learn a lot about, it's called your transverse abdominis. It basically gets turned off and goes on a little bit of a vacation. Now, it's either been on vacation where you are currently postpartum, or it's been all these years. But it can get turned off, and if we don't turn it back on, we tend to have a lot of issues. So I want you guys to just take a second and either Google or have me slow it down and say it, but I just want you to look up transverse abdominis. You could probably put in TVA in all capitals and put muscle, and Google should pull you up a picture, several pictures, obviously, and you should see that this muscle is very big, okay? Everybody on social media likes to call it your deep core. It drives me bonkers. I'm like, it's a muscle. Okay, yeah, I get it. We're in layers. But it's called your transverse abdominis. And it is so freaking important. I love this thing so much. I've actually jokingly called it your mom muscle before, because mom's everything. That's the TBA, okay? On that picture, you should be able to see some white tissue in the center. That's connective tissue. It's called, in this case, your linea alba. And when we're pregnant, that tissue not only separates from left to right, but it also thins from front to back. So I'm talking about, this is my spine and this is my belly. So it thins this way, okay? So the program is intended to heal that if you have it. If you don't have it, fantastic, but we can still make it stronger and teach you how to use it, okay? So reconnect, transverse, you guys got that? Now I get to tell you about all of its jobs.
And it's TRA.
TVA.
No, it comes up as TR.
Transverse abdominis.
I know, but it's showing TRA. little r, capital A. The TRA muscle is
Mm.
the deepest layer of the abdominal muscles located in the side. Because when I did TVA, I got something else.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you do TVA around here, you get Tennessee Valley Association or something. Anyway, okay, well, I'll send it to you, Catherine. But it
I
has
found it. Oh,
okay.
you can't see.
No, I can't see it. Just a blank screen. It has 4 jobs. First job is it's responsible for your posture. So when your transverse is engaged and healthy, you should have some nice upright posture. You probably heard it, you know, from grandma, moms, whatever, sit up straight. Well, that's your transverse that it does a majority of that work. That should tell you a lot too about it. It is a very large muscle, and I like to teach that God made us formed to function. So what I mean by that is God made it so that big muscles do big jobs, small muscles do small jobs. Big muscles usually can withstand a lot more. Small muscles, they get tired pretty quickly. In CrossFit, you know, we can put a lot of weight on our back and squat, and you're like, okay, and eventually your core gets tired. You carry, you know, heavy kettlebells, or you carry your groceries, and you're like, man, I feel my forearms almost right away. Okay. So the transverse is it's an endurance muscle. It's intended to work for long periods of time. And most people's, it don't work at all. Okay. So posture, and it should be able to work and hold that position. Second job is it's responsible for holding organs. That's a fun one.
Holding organs.
Holding.
Holding.
Holding, yeah. So your organs weigh about 15 pounds. Okay. So you can imagine if it's not healed, or it's that part of the tissue that I was talking about, the linea alba is thin, then it's not really doing a very good job holding your organs. I'll tell you a little bit about my mom, and I kind of brought her up. I checked my mom to see if she had an abdominal separation, what I'm going to teach you guys to do. And she did. She had a 3-finger split. Now, when I was postpartum, I had a 4-finger split. So here's my mom 30 years later, and she still has a split this large below her belly button. Okay. And the reason that's relevant to the story is because when you don't have this wonderful muscle holding the right things in place, they don't get to do their job as well. So my mom all my life has been like, I suffer from constipation. And I'm like, Mom, why? I never had any issues with my bowels until I was postpartum. Then I had constipation, and I was like, dang it, it's because of this. So when my mom was here and I checked her, I said, Mom, I need you to do these exercises. She was not good at it. Okay. And she was not disciplined, which is very unlike my mom. But she did it for like 3 or 4 days. And then she came out one morning. She was like, Kate, guess what? And I was like, what, Mom? She's like, I pooped. And she was so happy. And then she got mad. She was like, I've gone my whole life, and every doctor said, you don't hydrate, you don't eat enough fiber, you need to walk. And she's like, and it had nothing to do with that. And I was like, I'm really sorry, Mom. You're absolutely right. And this is one reason why I'm like so passionate about it. So it's so important for your digestion and your gut health. Your transverse's ability to hold your organs, but also assist in your organs moving, mainly your intestines, moving nutrients through your body. You're going to absorb nutrients better. And what do we do with more nutrients? We tend to be healthier. Most of my moms within the first 2 weeks will be like, hey, I lost 3 to 5 pounds and I haven't been working out. And I'm like, I know. It's so cool. So that's just a fun little kind of benefit and thing that probably nobody realizes. Like, this muscle, it does this, it impacts this. Yes, it does. Okay. Next 2 jobs are kind of related. It's responsible for breathing out or exhalation, and it's also responsible for creating what I like to call intra-abdominal pressure. Fancy stuff. Everybody's heard of their diaphragm, which sits on top. And most of us women have heard about our pelvic floor, which are really small muscles. And in the postpartum space, you get told so many times, your pelvic floor is weak. Oh, it's stretched out. Oh, it's too tight. Small muscles, small jobs. 15 pounds. Does 15 pounds sound like a small thing for small muscles to hold? I don't think so. So when you have the biggest player on the team, the transverse is sitting on the bench because it's got a gap in it. Somebody else is going to take that job. And unfortunately, it's the pelvic floor. This is why moms, you know, when they sneeze or laugh or cough, they pee because that intra-abdominal pressure can't be controlled. And the pelvic floor, it gets pushed on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
No, that's a lot of information. It's a lot of stuff to kind of like think about really quickly. But that's two really, really important jobs to kind of together, that exhalation and that creating intra-abdominal pressure, and kind of like why the pelvic floor gets blamed and has a whole bunch of issues. So typically what we see is like one of my moms who just graduated from my program, she has 4 kids, and her youngest is 8, and she had an abdominal separation, and she healed it completely. And she used to get up in the middle of the night at least 2 times, I think sometimes 3 times, to pee because of it. And like one of the last times I met with her, I was like, hey, how many times did you get up last night? And she went, I didn't get up. I just realized I didn't even get up. And I was like, oh, sweet. Because she was down to 1 time. So I was thinking, okay, we're at 1 time. Let's be happy with that. Nope. No more getting up in the middle of the night. So pretty cool. So yeah, that's the jobs of the TVA: posture, holding your organs, helping move nutrients, exhalation, and creating intra-abdominal pressure. For those of us that like to work out, creating intra-abdominal pressure, really, really important. I'm not talking about breathing and pushing down and out. I'm talking about creating tension within all those 3 groups. How does that sound so far? Pretty crazy, huh? Yeah. Okay. So now that we know what the heck it does, now we get to check to see, do you have any issues with it? Okay. I will teach you how to check it. So your job is to lay down on the floor, and I'm going to do the same thing. If you were to work with me in person, I check it for you, and then I might actually teach you how to do it as well. When I work with people remotely, just like I'm doing with you guys do it to yourselves. It's not complicated. Okay. We're just going to feel the tissue, and we're going to see if that tissue comes together or if it stays apart. And we're going to do that using your hand. I also do a cloth measuring tape. I take measurements while my moms are laying down on the ground, because we will see all of your measurements change. If there is a separation, it will change. It will get smaller. So that's also really cool. Okay. So I'm hopefully going to put you guys in a spot where you can see me. And if you didn't know, here's Rafferty's. This is Rafferty's space. I like to pretend it's my office, but it's really his. Okay. I probably I feel like my screen background is like blurry, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is.
That doesn't make it easy for you guys to see. I don't even know how that does that. Does anybody know how to change that crazy thing?
Are you on a phone or a computer?
I'm on my computer.
I know on my phone, if I tap my screen, there's like 3 little dots that says more, and then it says backgrounds and effects.
I have captions and break rooms.
Do you have like a little, like 3 little dots button?
Doesn't it, it has choose virtual background or choose video filter.
I see more, but
If you
Try-
click more,
Yeah, click more and hit backgrounds.
nope, I don't have backgrounds.
Huh.
I don't know. Okay, well, I'll just put y'all close to me. Okay. All right, so we're gonna measure in 3 different spots. We're gonna go at your belly button. And when I say at your belly button, I don't mean fingers in your belly button. I mean just slightly above it. And then we're gonna go 3 inches above that, which is basically at like the top, or however you view like the bottom of your ribs. And then 3 inches below your belly button, okay? Which for most people is kind of like, I guess, panty line. Your job is to relax your head. I'm gonna hold mine up and talk, okay? So in this position, my knees are bent, my feet are flat on the ground. I'm gonna have my head and myself relaxed. Now I'm gonna take my fingers Here they are.
Mhm.
And I'm going to push just gently straight down into my abdomen. Okay.
Above your belly button.
Right? Yep, just literally right above it. Okay. And I'm just letting my tissue kind of relax around my fingers. And I'm taking note. Is it super squishy? Is it firm? Does it kind of push back at me? If I have a separation, it's gonna feel squishy. If I don't, it won't. Okay. And from here, all you're gonna do, you're not gonna brace. If you know how to do that, you're just gently going to raise your head and raise your shoulders. And if you have a separation, what will happen is your tissue, if I'm like sunk down in it, okay, it will come up and push either a finger out of the way, or it'll surround it, or you'll be like, okay, I feel like two fingers, like you can kind of wiggle back and forth, and you'll be able to feel if there's like space in between your abdominal wall. Does that make sense?
Let's see about this.
Catherine's like, I gotta get down on the ground. I'm really annoyed with this background
Here's
filter
my
thingy.
fingers.
Okay, so I have to tell you, I had a C-section and never thought I had separation. I mean, I know they cut, but like I do have separation.
Okay, so here's the thing is where baby comes out, where JP came out, they did suture back together.
Right.
However, and you know this, anytime that we mess with tissue, we
Yeah.
can turn off that signal, right? So you
Yeah.
might be closed there, but you might not be able to activate any of that, Chels.
Oh yeah. I remember like the first day home trying to get out of the bed, I was like, I can't even like lift my head up to sit
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. Yeah. So I posted a video that you guys probably saw the other day, and I just said like my before and after. In my before picture, I have a 4-finger abdominal split. 4. Ah, crazy. Which is normal. It's so
Yeah.
normal, okay? But what you see, like, I mean, to me in that video, I'm like, I am squishy. What you're seeing, you're not seeing body fat. That's not body fat. That's literally my abdominal wall is this far apart, and you're seeing like my organs, like,
Yeah.
you know, like it's very thin. So when that tissue starts to come back together, you're like, oh, there we go. That's good. Okay. So what did you go, Chelsea, did you go at your belly button?
Yeah, I did my belly button.
Okay. Go ahead, relax your head. Because
Okay.
it'll already be, your abs will already be kind of pushing up. So
Yeah.
just push straight down.
Okay.
And then what does that feel like to you? Soft, kind of firm?
I'm soft.
Okay. Before you go anywhere with that thought, can you feel your pulse underneath your fingers? Catherine's
Yeah.
like, going back. You can. Okay.
Yeah.
So feeling your pulse underneath your fingers tells us that not that tissue that you do have there is thin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sometimes we can have tissue that might be only like 2 fingers apart,
Mm-hmm.
but it's thin from front to back. So the
Yeah.
separation from left to right not as bad, but maybe from front to back it is.
Yeah.
Usually we have both.
Yeah.
But so when you sit up, what do you feel? How many fingers?
I go from like 3 to 2.
Okay.
Pretty, yeah. And I can like feel the muscles like,
Okay.
yeah, like I can
So,
feel them.
Two
Like
two is not terrible, but
Yeah.
2 is not considered healed. It's not strong. It's not healthy.
Yeah.
Catherine, how's it feel?
Well, okay, first of all, I can also feel the pulse.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I pushed down, before I lifted my head up, my fingers kind of stayed there. But when I lifted my head up, it was like the sides went around
Mhm.
my fingers.
Yep.
Okay.
But that kind of felt hard going around there, not squishy.
So yeah, so you are gonna feel your abs are, the muscles themselves are gonna fire. That's what you're feeling because you work out, you're strong. But that white connective tissue that connects all 3 of our layers together is not where we want it to be. So how many fingers did you have there?
3, I think.
Great. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Especially for your generation, y'all didn't get any of this. Y'all got
No,
no.
but you know what? I can jump rope and I've never peed my pants when I sneeze.
Okay, well, that's a
So
positive.
Chelsea, what you need to, I have 3 daughters and my youngest is 27. So I am,
Okay.
not only am I not postpartum, I'm probably postmenopausal.
Well, I have one and he's 4, but I've had 2 low back injuries, same way, and I'm almost positive I know it's abs and pelvis. I know it's not back necessarily. It's just where I'm compensating.
Mhm.
Okay, so we've done at the belly button. It makes sense when we think about belly expanded. That's gonna be, should be the, worst spot that you have. Okay. Y'all remember, even though it's been 20 something years, Catherine, we all remember that the organs for baby to have this space, organs got to go up. Okay, so then the ribs expand. So typically we do have some separation about 3 inches above. So we do the exact same thing to measure there. Okay, we lay down, we relax the head, we plant the feet. Can't see my camera.
Oh, I had my feet extended. We're
No,
supposed to
straight legs.
extend them?
Or sorry, bent knees. Yep. So
Okay.
then gently, why is my camera being weird? Gently push down. This will almost always for everybody feel more rigid. And then we gently sit up and see what happens. I need to figure out this dang background. Ooh, choose virtual background. Ooh, choose video filter. Blur my background. Oh, can I do it? I didn't. Yeah, go me. So typically this spot feels better for almost everyone. Yeah.
I graduated to 2 fingers.
Yay!
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right. And then the last can vary. C-section moms not going to feel anything that would be very atypical, but your sensation might be not great, like tactile touch. And you also may be like, I can't control that at all, but we're about to learn that. Vaginal bursts, we tend to have a separation there. I think I was 3 above, 4 at, and 4 below, I think. So we do the exact same thing. You know, lay it on down. You push gently down, up and down, up and down. Gently push down. So this is where my mom was still a three finger, like pretty dang good.
I think I'm still like a 1.5.
Okay. And that might be a result of when you were, I don't know how quickly you got back into activity, but maybe that tissue was just weak. And so, when you started front racking things or holding anything,
Yeah.
it just caused stress on it.
Yeah.
Catherine,
Oh,
what'd you find?
I think it was a 2 to a 2.5. I mean, definitely it was pushing my fingers out, so I couldn't fit as many in to push down.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I would write those numbers down. When I have my moms, I have a whole booklet that I give to them. And we write it down every session. Not a requirement, but super fun. If you have a cloth measuring tape, I would measure, I with my clients measure those 3 same exact spots at the belly button, 3 inches above and 3 inches below. I typically don't do these things, at night. I prefer that we do them in the morning just so we're not impacted by our day. And I also have them take pictures. They can take pictures every week. They could take it every 2 weeks. And the reason for that is this happens every dang time. It's a reward when you are struggling with, aches and pains, or you just don't like the way that you look. Like, seeing a little bit of changes your first reward and incentivizes you to keep going. So typically I tell my moms to take a picture, just a front picture and then a side picture. And you'll see some really incredible changes. I saw mine within the first week. I have moms that typically see it within the first week, definitely within the first 2 weeks. And
Okay, this is gonna
every mom
sound
says to me, they're like, all I did was breathe. And I'm like, I know.
this is gonna sound so like TMI, but yesterday when you were coaching, I was looking at your leggings and I was like, she's so flat in the front. Like you can't even see her uterus. Like I just thought it was normal to have like, you know what I mean? Like not that I can
Pooch?
see people's uterus. Yes, yes. And like I hate to call it a pooch because like I like tell myself like it's not fat. It's not fat. It's your organs. But it is because you're
Right.
not holding it in. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. Like I think just is so important on so many levels. So many levels. Like I could just
Yeah.
go on all night about it. So I'm glad that you're like already realizing it. It's just cool. Okay, so we've done some major learning. We know what the transverse is now because you're gonna need to visualize that bad boy. Okay.
I'm listening.
We've done, you better be. Chelsea, I just want you to know that Catherine was one of my first personal training clients, and I hadn't met her husband Paul yet, but I'd been working with Catherine for a while. And one time I got to meet Paul. He just happened to be there with his personal trainer at the same time. And Catherine was like, Paul, this is Kate. Kate, this is Paul. And Paul was like, oh, it's nice to meet you, Kate. And Catherine quickly cut him off and said, oh, she's cute, right? You think she's cute? She's not. She's the devil. And it just always made me laugh.
Yeah. Because they make you work that terrible thing, and
That's right. Okay, so we've learned a lot about the transverse. You guys have measured and you found like, holy crap, I have a separation and nobody's told me this before. And so now we get to teach this thing how to work again. I'll tell you a little bit, and Chelsea, you know this, but muscles always start one place and they attach another place. So they originate in one place and they attach to another, and they always pull towards their origin. Okay. Your transverse starts in your back and wraps around to the front. So when it contracts, it pulls. In this case, it should pull up and in. Okay. That's going to be very important in your visualization. Everybody tracking?
yes.
Okay. The first exercise that I teach all of my moms, even if I think that they are coordinated and capable, everybody starts in the same position we just measured, which is laying down on your back with your feet bent. In that position, we're going to do a little bit of breathing, okay? We're going to put one hand on our belly and one hand on our chest. And your goal is to first just take 3 breaths in through your chest. And I just want you to tell me, how does it feel? You're trying to make your chest rise and fall towards the ceiling. So if I lay down for you guys, now that my background isn't blurred, I get to breathe in through my chest and breathe out and breathe in. And breathe out, breathe in, and breathe out. And that's step 1.
I'm at.
You have to get it. It's make sure that did I put the sticky on the top or is it on the bottom?
It's sticky.
And then I have to turn it over. Don't touch it.
Okay. So when you do that, I'm just going to give you the answers to the test. It probably feels like you actually didn't take in much oxygen. For some people, it feels really restricted. It can even make you feel a little bit anxious. Okay. Because that's not how we should breathe. A lot of people who work out, they tend to breathe through their chest, and then they have a hard time doing the exercises that they want to do because they can't get any dang oxygen in. All right. So we're going to get rid of that hand, and we're going to put one hand on our belly. Same position, knees bent, feet flat, head relaxed. And you are going to breathe in, and as you breathe in, I want your hand to rise towards the ceiling, and as you breathe out, it should fall towards the floor, okay? Should look like this. Okay, well, let's try that. And you might go, Kate, that wasn't very easy. What'd you think?
Yeah, I can like feel my chest fighting it, like wanting to like.
Yeah,
So I want to push my stomach out.
not push. Push would be kind of that bearing down, Catherine.
They're out of box cakes. So I laid flat
Mhm.
and then I breathed and then my stomach expanded,
Yes.
but I kind of felt like I was trying to get my stomach to push out when I expanded.
And not necessarily, I don't want it to feel like you're like trying to take a poop, push out. It should just naturally rise.
Yeah, that's what I think it was doing.
It's not easy. This is why we're retraining, reconnecting, re-educating. This is what my mom was like, I can't do it. She was terrible at it. She was so bad. So bad.
Well, that's what they were talking about this morning at class. Kristen and Lauren were like, I'm sore from breathing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My mom, Kristen, that I was telling you about with the 4 kids, like within a couple days, she like texted me and she was like, my stomach is so sore. I'm like, woo-hoo, it's working. Yeah, you're making that TVA do its job. It hasn't been doing it. Okay, so let's try to talk to it a little bit better. Okay, let's support it. And this is your homework. And let me also tell you that everybody starts laying down on the ground because there's no other factors. The TVA doesn't have to hold posture. It doesn't have to hold your organs. There's nothing else distracting you. Okay. So laying down on your back is the position that you're supposed to be in with your knees bent and your feet flat. Okay. So let's make it a little bit easier on this guy. Let's talk to him. So the hand needs to stay on the belly. Okay. The reason for that is the brain likes a little bit of help. So this is a tactile cue. That hand position, you can even like move it around to like be like, hey, talk to this guy. It needs that help. If you learned anything in your pregnancy journey, it's that this part of you is heavily attached to that part of you, which is really awesome. Your generation didn't learn that. It's true.
I did with Lamaze because they talked about,
Lord.
breathing
Okay.
and stuff,
Yeah.
but I had
Um, so we are going to make an audible shh sound. Okay. And that shh sound is going to happen when you're breathing out. Now, breathing out means that my belly is going to drop. I breathe in, it's going to gently rise. I breathe out, it's going to gently drop to the floor. Shh. Okay. So we have a hand, we have this guy, and then we're going to visualize. That visualization is really important. And Chelsea, it's going to be a little different than like literally it should be a different visualization because your gaps are different. Let's just say, Chelsea, that you were closed at the bottom, but you're open at your belly button. So I wouldn't necessarily feel like, okay, yours is closed at the bottom, but we know with your C-section that that's not turned on there. I bet if you put your hand there and you do your breast, it don't freaking move there. Like that's going to be one of your big focal points. Whereas Catherine, we can visualize a zip the whole way. Now a zip is this way and this way, up and in. If we stand in front of a mirror when our TVA is healthy, you should see your belly button rise up and in. Did you see that? So it's here. Okay. It should change levels.
Hmm.
It's hard. It's hard. This is not easy work. Okay. So I'm gonna show you some breaths exactly how I want you to do them. Exactly. Okay. All right. Here we go. All right. Hand on the belly. Making my audible shh, okay, as I breathe out. And I'm gonna visualize my zip the whole way. Did I do them fast?
No.
Nope. Slow, 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 slow. Okay. Very loud. Shh. Gives me an opportunity to visualize that zip starting from the bottom, traveling up, going across my belly button, up into my ribs and pulling my ribs together. Okay. So hand on the belly. The hand should rise and shh. Hand should rise. Shh. Let's do another one. Shh.
My belly doesn't go in as far as yours.
That's because mine doesn't have a hole in it. Trust me, it used to.
I feel like I can come together, but I can't come up.
Yeah, the up is very challenging.
Yeah.
That's gonna take time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Healing time and strength time. But you both successfully did make your belly rise and made it fall as your breath came out, correct?
Yes.
Mhm.
Wonderful, because if you can't, and some moms can't, you have to think so hard, which is okay, about what you're doing. Okay. All right. So we know that our TVA isn't in control of our breath. Most people take 14 to 18 breaths a minute. That's pretty standard. Okay. I'm gonna ask you to do a minimum of 100 of these a day. They doesn't
100 of what we just did.
what we just did. You do not have to do 100 in a row. At some, if you move on with me in the program, yes, there will be some things that I tell you, no, it's got to be like this. In this case, it's just 100 minimum. That's not asking a lot. If I take 14 to 18 breaths in a minute, I'm only really asking my TVA to work for like 4 or 5 minutes. And I got like a 24-hour day. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So 100 minimum. If you want to do more, if you have time to do more, great, do it. You can't hurt the dang thing. You will only make it happier. Okay. In this healing process, it seems crazy because this muscle itself is very, very strong, but the tissue that connects it is weak. Okay. And when I say weak, I want you to envision a paper towel and it's wet in the center. That's how fragile it is if we're truly in this healing process. So all of my moms have some restrictions. And that is because we can't stress that tissue when it's healing. So none of my moms are allowed to be on hands and knees. So we can't do any push-ups, any burpees, any high planking, any of that jazz. Okay. Because we're trying to get that tissue to come down and together, we can't hang on the pull-up bar and we can't do any traditional core work because traditional core work is going to create intra-abdominal pressure and push out against that tissue. Does that make sense so far?
So no planks?
No planks. I know that goes against a lot of what people say. Don't worry, they don't look like this.
And no core exercises,
Mm-mm. You got one. You got the best one.
just breathing.
You'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, so no planks, no burpees, no push-ups, no front-loaded position. Don't be scrubbing the floors or whatever, that's what I'm talking about. No hanging on the pull-up bar, no traditional core work. Can you squat? Yeah. Can you lunge? Yeah. Should you front load your squat? I'd love you to stay away from it. When my moms are immediately postpartum, I tell them if you are going to sneeze, they actually wear why can't I think of the word? A binder. If you're gonna sneeze, cough, heck, I've had moms that have gotten sick and thrown up, and man, that sent us backwards because that pressure basically takes out all that wonderful tissue that you've been working on. So I usually tell them to like brace. I'm just telling you guys everything so you can get all the context of this, even if it doesn't apply to you. Okay. When you are getting out of bed or getting off the ground. Okay, so just imagine I'm laying down in bed and I want to get up. This would be a traditional core movement, right? If I do this, it's a traditional core movement. It's just functional in life. So in order for you to sit up properly and protect that tissue, you have to roll to your side and sit up. If I
I
want to,
lost my picture.
oh, if you want to lay down,
Oh, I'm back.
okay. If you want to lay down on the ground, or on your bed, you lay down on your side and then roll to your back. Okay. So that's gonna allow you to protect that tissue. Catherine's looking at me like, this girl is
Well,
crazy.
I mean, I just get into bed and lay down.
I know.
Can't
You're
just
gonna,
back up. I have to turn to my side first
yeah, you gotta sit, lay down to your side. Yep.
and then turn to my back.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Hmm.
Ideally, I tell most of my moms, like, are you a stomach sleeper? I don't want you to sleep like this because that's still that extended position.
Mhm.
Let's just say we're at the gym and you want to do bench press. You can do bench press, but you'd have to sit down on the bench, roll, and then roll to your side and then sit up instead of just again sitting off the bench. There's ways around it for sure. I just want you guys to have the best kind of trial experience so that you're aware of all the components to it. Okay. So any questions? Any thoughts? Is that what you were expecting? Or you're like, whoa.
I'm shocked that I can breathe,
I'm proud of you.
and
That's good.
I'm just saying I'm shocked that breathing will do more than a core exercise because it is a core exercise.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
It's powerful.
I think too, like Catherine and I work in healthcare, and not that we know everything about everything, but like you're just told in society like things are, oh, like you had a baby, and to maybe to a point. But I remember telling somebody the other day, like talking about like bowel and bladder stuff, like, oh, I just feel so different. Like it just feels different. And even I was like, ever since I've had my baby, I don't know if it's hormones or what, but it makes sense now that like, yeah, that binding is not holding things where they need to be. And that's why it does feel different.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously, in a couple of days, you're gonna be like, what the heck? Why didn't nobody teach me this? It is
Yeah.
life-changing. It's really, really amazing. And we just take it step by step. So that's the goal. Hopefully I didn't forget anything. I get really excited, so you guys have your homework. So a minimum of 100 breaths laying down on your back, feet planted, hand on your belly, making your shh sound. Visualize the zip. Those are 3 really important components. rolling in and out of bed or off the floor, making sure you're protecting that tissue. If you guys are going to be in the gym and you really want to treat this the way that I tell my clients to treat it, I gave you kind of all those parameters. Like Chelsea, for example, like today you wouldn't have been able to do Turkish get up.
Yeah.
Right.
What is that?
It's a movement we do in CrossFit.
Oh,
Yeah. Getting
Turkish
blinded
get-up.
over there.
sorry, my son is in my eyes.
I highly, highly recommend that you guys tomorrow, put it in your phone right now as we keep talking. Put a reminder in your phone. Take progress picture tomorrow morning when I wake up. Put it in there. Take a front and take a side. I don't care if you don't want to see it. I don't care if you don't like it. That's not the point. Your
Mhm.
future self, when you take it in a week or 2 weeks from now, you're gonna go, holy crap.
I don't know. I'm going to Italy and there's pasta to be had.
You can still breathe.
Yeah.
I know, and I'm going to. So that's the good thing because I won't be going to my normal classes where I do a core class on,
Right.
yeah. So today's core class that we did, I mean, there were definitely, well, you wouldn't have liked the one over your head. And then,
Oh, I love me some chops, but no, you wouldn't have been able to do that.
yeah, you wouldn't have wanted, yeah. And then,
Um,
we do the over,
right.
we do all kinds of fun things.
Oh, yeah, for
And
sure.
then I go to bar classes, but biking is no problem.
Biking, no problem. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And most of the bar classes would be okay. It's just when you get down to the core, the push-ups and the planks.
Right. So you would do some glute bridging, or you would lay there and you would do your breaths that you need to get
Yeah.
done.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
And Chelsea, I can give you any substitutions that you need. So
Okay.
yeah.
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 I'm excited. It sounds good.
Yeah. I want to hear from you guys. I want to know your thoughts and follow up with you guys. I always tell all my moms, like, shoot me a text, like ask me any questions. I'm here to be a resource. And of course accountability as well, but most of my moms are pretty good with that. They're like, this is the one thing I do for myself. Yeah, so it's really cool. But yeah, so that's what I have for you guys, unless you can think of any questions for me.
All right. Is your phone number still 315? Okay. 286?
2864. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Here I have to put Quayle in there. Isn't that
I know.
funny?
Quayle. Yep.
Yeah, I know how to spell it because I see you on Quayle. Yes. I still have you in there as Del Sol.
I know. Yep.
Yeah. I can't even believe I had you in my phone.
I know. Look at me. I'm special.
The devil. The devil.
That's me. Don't call me that. My mother-in-law would not be happy about that.
No, I was talking to someone today and there's this class, actually it's called Cardio Core, but when I did it the last time, literally they did 3 minutes of core. And I said, I think I might add that in. It's like a hip class. And I said, but tonight I have this workshop at 6 o'clock. And so the person's like, oh, what are you doing? And I said, well, somebody I used to train with, I forget what it was called. It was brick something. I
Brick
said,
bodies.
I know it's brick bodies, but it was the weight loss thing that we were doing.
Oh,
And one of the things that they recommended, they said, oh, on this 8-week thing, they recommended, signing up with a trainer. So I was like, okay. So I signed up with cute Kate, who was Fortress. And I said to them, I was like the second place person. I said, I lost 17 pounds in 8 weeks. And I said, and the sad thing is that's how I eat now. But I can't lose that 17 pounds. It's just different.
Different. Yeah.
Some of
different.
it is age. I know you don't like to hear excuses, but it is definitely age.
It does. Yeah, it does change. I mean, hormones change. Yeah, for sure.
So,
Cool.
whereas again, I'm not postpartum. I'm like,
Well, technically you are because you had children, but
well,
you
true,
still-
but
you're still in that. They always say you're always in it, which that's
Yeah.
fair.
so, but it's
Um,
funny when you talked about the organs because, okay, so this is also TMI, but it doesn't matter to me. Which I think when I was working with you, I had this done. I had to have my ovaries removed when I was 40, I was almost 45. So I was 44, almost 45. And when I did, I just had it done laparoscopically, but I remembered a couple days after that, I would turn and I heard this, bloop, bloop. I'm like, oh my gosh, what was that? And if I go back, bloop, bloop, and I thought something is moving in my stomach. And they remove, I don't even know, ovaries are probably the size of a walnut, but because they moved them, the other organs were trying to find places to go. And I literally could feel things
Wow.
shifting as
That
I
doesn't
turned.
surprise me.
Thought, this is the weirdest thing in the world. I mean, it
Yeah.
lasted for a couple weeks and then everything
Kind of figured
found
out.
its spot and
Yeah.
repositioned. But I thought, oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I had that. So I wonder if that's contributed also.
Yeah, any procedure like that, because maybe it's a small incision, however, it still has the chance to turn off that communication
Right.
and impede performance and that sort of thing, and run risk of other things. But yeah. So
All right.
all right.
Well, I'll have to check in when until Saturday, but after that,
Yeah.
I'll have to, I'm in Wi-Fi. I'm not going to have cell service, but
Okay.
it'll go through because you have an iPhone.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll go through when I'm in Wi-Fi.
Yeah, check in with me, Chelsea. I'll see you in person.
Yes.
And just thank you to you guys for jumping
Yes.
on.
Thank you.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Should be
Super
interesting.
informative.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's good because now I have 2 weeks that I can't go to those classes anyway. So I
There
won't
we go.
have to.
See,
Yeah.
perfect.
It'll actually be, it would be 3 weeks before I could go back to it because we'll be gone for 2.5. So yeah. All righty.
All right.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right.
Thank
Nice to
you.
meet
Bye.
you. All
You
right.
too.
Bye.
Thank you.